Grant Hagen is President of Warfare Systems for HII Mission Technologies. It's great to see you, Grant. Thanks for joining me today. A lot of discussion here about innovation. What's your sense of what innovation looks like in the space in which you operate and for the Defense Department today?
Sure. Within Mission Technologies, we really focus on getting capability in the hands of the warfighter as quickly as possible. So what you see today at the DefenseTech Live is a lot of those products we've built alongside the warfighter, getting continuous feedback to incorporate to solve their problems. And that's really where we're focused is how do we identify the problem, support the warfighter, and then get that technology and capability in their hands quickly with a continuous feedback loop as well.
Mm-hmm. What have you seen from your side, and what have you seen the department do to facilitate that drive for speed?
Yeah, so I think they're doing a great job. You've seen a transition to more and more of the exercises. So as we develop capability, we try and get them scheduled into an exercise and get the hands-on from the end user to get that feedback, to iterate, and then to improve the capability. Eventually then leading to potentially a program of record or procurement of that system if it's needed. Otherwise, we will move on to solve other problems for the customer.
Mm-hmm. What makes for good feedback from an end user, in your view?
Really, how is this working? What is the problem? We always are looking for what is their problem and what are unique ways we can solve it. So the feedback really boils down to, here's what I'm facing, and it's kind of open-ended. Here's what I'd like to solve. You bring a solution to me that may or may not exactly fit, but in the end, it's solving that problem.
Mm-hmm. What I think is interesting about that is for years, industry asked for that latitude. The department seemed to struggle with that and wanted to give you a list of requirements. It has to do these 20 things. It sounds like that culture has changed in whatever way that it has, and that's what the department is able to do now. Am I on the right track?
Yeah, absolutely. That culture has changed. You used to get a long list of requirements. You'd put a bid in, and usually that would increase cost and increase the time to product delivery. So with that iteration and not being completely specific on the requirements, it allows our company and others to bring solutions into their hands quickly and not going against a performance spec or a large specification that you go through a huge testing process.
One of the arguments in industry made for a long time about that is it won't lock us into having to respond in a particular way. Have you seen that bear out in the ways that you've provided solutions to the department?
Absolutely, absolutely. We will. You will get requirements that come in, and that's what we want. Once you get that baseline solution, then you want that feedback to increase the capability. So you'll get some specific requirements after you get that baseline solution for them, and then and we really employ DevSecOps. So doing it quickly, securely, with continuous integration, continuous security for that warfighter.
Has the iteration process proved to be to provide any challenges to you or to the department as you try something, maybe it doesn't work exactly the way that you hoped, you go back and try it again and hit it the second time or anything like that? Is that kind of the way it's supposed to work?
I think it's evolving, but what we have to be cognizant of, if we get it in their hands and it's not something that's solving a problem, don't bring it back and continue to iterate on something that isn't necessarily solving their needs. You got to move on to the next idea and thought of how to, or methodology to solve that problem.
Mm-hmm. Is the department getting good at explaining to you exactly what the problems are that they're trying to solve, to give you the clues that you need as to what solutions will work for you?
They're getting better. I think there's still work to be done to really have that clarity in their contracting methodology. We are moving to more OTA type contracts, CSO type contracts that are more open-ended, and here's a large problem, may not go into the details, come bring a solution.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the discussion at this conference revolves around integration, integration in various domains, integration among various commands, integration among United States and allies and partners, and so on. How does that emphasis on integration from the department inform the way that you go about doing your work to try to support it?
You know, we had a session on CJADC2. That is all about integrating various stovepipe capabilities into a unified command and control solution. And that's kind of a template of, you got to bring not only integrate these products that are existing, integrate new products. There's going to be multiple vendors that provide those products, so you all have to play well together. And then in the end, they have to integrate their coalition partners as well and their capabilities. So it all has to mesh together. You have to have translators along the way to provide that integration. But if you know integration is occurring up front, you can design for integration. You can get those standards up front. Work with the customer to develop a standard so you know that you're interfacing correctly with them.
What are the most effective ways to do that, to know going into a project like you just described? You said integration up front. Okay, once you know that, how do you effectively plan to make sure that you're able to deliver what the customer wants?
Yeah, I'll use software as an example. If the government defines in advance, which is one thing that they're getting better at, but getting that interface document to the vendors for them to build to really helps. The other thing, once you get in there, you can actually get your hands on what you need to do, and you can make those iterations quickly using the DevSecOps model.
Talked about the culture of innovation a couple of moments ago. How do you foster that within your organization to maybe try to anticipate what the department might need before the department needs it, so you can help them drive that speed that they're asking for all the time?
Yeah, fundamentally within my organization, we push for get in with the customer, spend time with the customer, get that feedback. So every employee is essentially trying to pull their problems out from the customer. Even if it may not be associated with what they're working today, if they get that feedback, they can bring it back to, and we have teams that do product development, we have teams doing IRAD projects, get that information back and help them ideate on a solution for that, and then we can bring it back out to that customer.
Mm-hmm. The future of operations, as the DoD leaders that are here talking to me today are describing it, is multi-domain operations, air, land, sea, space, cyber. What is the implication for the kind of work that you just described on the fact that your solutions will potentially touch every one of those areas each and every individual time that you provide a solution?
Well, the unique thing about HII is we work with all of the DoD, we work with intelligence communities. So we have the understanding of how they operate and how they integrate together already. And so we can pull from folks that are working with the Marines, we can pull from folks working with the Navy, we can pull from folks working in the Air Force, and really understand collectively how they're looking to integrate a solution into a multi-domain, multi-service solution.
Mm-hmm. How do you see the future of this? What do you see over the horizon for organizations in the department that are solving problems within a relatively short period of time that may not even be on their radar screens today?
Yeah, I think the agility is really going to be key for all of us supporting the DoD and the warfighter, and building that culture within the company to fail quickly. Come with the mindset that what I bring today may not be the final solution, but it gets me down a path to solve those problems. Not being so rigid in we need to go after a specific capability, knowing that capability may change. But then you also have to build in that resilience of what you're delivering and do the proper testing along the way. So it's kind of a combination of old and new.
Yeah, what can the department do to set you up for that kind of success? To help you help them?
I think getting more information as to what specifically, we're moving to this OTA CSO model, getting more information and feedback on those opportunities as they come available, what were the high-level topics and issues they're looking for, and then having incremental opportunities for multiple companies to join in and provide those solutions. Additionally, as they do a host of exercises, having a very open, and when we go to the planning conferences, making sure that because it all revolves around data in the end, having the opportunity to get access to that data to feed the systems and develop those solutions.
What's the data that's most helpful to you, again, to be able to help you help them?
So data in general, I will say. So I'll talk about like big data platform. It's tactical data coming across. It's intel data. It's all sorts of data and making sense of that data, because in the end, you're combining all of those disparate data elements using AI tools to create a product for the end user that speeds their decision making.
Just final thought. What can you do to help the department the most, not tactically, but maybe strategically or even philosophically? What will be the greatest benefit that you can do to help them achieve the goals that we've talked about in this conversation, do you think?
I think just being open to the changing landscape, being open to provide technology, and really focus on get that technology in the hands of the warfighter quickly. Speed is of essence.
Grant, it's great to talk to you today. Thanks for your time.
Nice speaking with you as well.